Good morning and welcome to our virtual high school counselor conference for the church educational system, also known as CES. I'm Allison Divis and I'm a BYU admissions representative, but today I also get to be your host for this conference. We're so excited to be with you today and share information about each of our CES entities. We'll talk about information across institutions as well, including deadlines, enrollment, and tuition. But first, let's watch a video giving some basic information about the CES institutions.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for your interest in the church educational system. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints sponsors 4 campuses of higher learning: BYU, BYU-Hawaii, BYU-Idaho, and Ensign College. It also operates over 370 institutes of religion near other university campuses and Pathway online learning. This presentation will answer the most common questions we get from students applying to a CES school. Each CES campus offers different advantages to students. However, they all share some core characteristics. They each have a temple easily accessible to students. A true example of higher learning. Students at each campus are enriched by weekly devotionals where church leaders and faculty inspire and instruct. Central to students' experience are religion classes, but it's not uncommon for classes in science, math, and other topics to begin with prayer. All campuses have young single adult wards where students can attend church and hold callings. These wards provide a lot of opportunity for spiritual growth, service, and social activities. Faculty and students at all CES campuses live by an honor code. This includes high moral standards in academic conduct, residential living, and dress and grooming. And all 4 campuses grant a deferment for students who are admitted but want to serve a mission. Each CES campus is a dynamic place to learn and grow, not only academically, but spiritually. We hope this presentation will help you in deciding which schools you should apply to.
Hopefully that video sparked some questions that you might have about each of these CES institutions. We have reps from all of these entities in the chat today, so feel free to send your questions in the chat. We'll also have opportunities for prizes based on your participation in the chat, so be sure to send in your questions and we'll have them answered. Now we'll get to hear from Memo from BYU.
Thank you, Allison. I'm so grateful to be here with all of you today to talk about BYU and the opportunities we have for your students as you prepare, help them prepare to apply and come to our campus. A real quick summary about BYU. We are located in Provo, Utah with just over 32,000 students with 10 different colleges and over 190 majors. And right now the tuition for members who are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is around $3,444. Real quick summary about our mission. The purpose of BYU, the mission of BYU, which is to be founded, supported, and guided by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is to assist individuals in their quest for perfection and eternal life. And one of the ways that we do this is by an Inspired Learning Initiative, which is an initiative that describes our approach to learning, where we invite the Spirit into the classroom so that we can learn by study and by faith. So we're going to go through a lot of information today. I'm going to blaze through so many different things that we're going to go quickly about. But this website, hsc.byu.edu, is a great place for you counselors to find very quick access to links and be able to find all the information that we're talking about today. And you can go through all these links here at this website. So it's a very summarized link location for you to find these links. So, biggest question that we get is, what does BYU look for? What is the biggest thing that BYU is trying to find? And the best way to describe that is to talk about our aims of BYU education. We are looking for students who align with the aims of our BYU education, which are spiritually strengthening, intellectually enlarging, character building, which all lead to lifelong learning and service. So what we're looking for is students who are fulfilling those aims. Now, does it mean that they have to be perfect in these aims? It does not. We don't need students who are trying to live their perfect life in that way, but we are looking for students who are trying to spiritually strengthen themselves, who are trying to challenge themselves intellectually, who are trying to build their characters in a certain way, and to be able to serve others after they leave here. Again, our slogan here on campus is to enter to learn, go forth and serve. Our review of students and their application is a holistic review. We do our best to learn as much as we can about students. It doesn't mean that we find everything out about them, but we do our best to learn as much as we can through them. As we do this through these ways: academic preparation, where they tell us about what their academics that they've done, conduct commitments, essays and activities, recommendations from other individuals, and their seminary institute attendance. So if you have more questions about this, you can go to this website, holistic.byu.edu, to learn more about the holistic review of the BYU application. So for students to start preparing themselves to start to apply and to prepare to attend BYU, we highly recommend students attend seminary and to graduate from seminary. Again, these are all recommendations, and that is one of the recommendations, to attend and to graduate from seminary. We also recommend students taking challenging coursework. We don't want students just to take classes that may be maybe a little easy on them, but we also don't want students to try to take difficult classes that they may not be successful in. We want them to be successful in classes and to challenge themselves academically. We also want students to be able to explore outside of the classroom, be able to explore what they're interested in and other activities such as sports and drama and acting and all those type of different things that they might be interested in outside of the classroom. So we want students to be developing themselves in that way. And also we want students to be serving in their community, in their school, within their family. Find opportunities for themselves to be able to learn, to be able to serve their fellow man. Another question that we often get is how does AP and IB work, or how does transferring college credits work, which I'll talk about college transcripts here in a bit. But regardless, either way, if they want to look at how they're going to transfer to BYU, they can go to this website, apib.byu.edu, and they can also learn more about transferring credits at transfer.byu.edu. So the application itself is kind of can be a little disorienting, but the biggest things that they need is it's adaptive. So it grows, it continues growing as you continue doing some of the requirements of the application. So what we recommend students is to actually complete step by step this what's required in front of them. So it's going to ask for high school information. It's going to ask for their high school transcript that they've got to self-input. It's going to ask them for college credits if they've completed any, and seminary recommendation. And then after that, it's going to populate the recommendation requirements for students. So we highly recommend students to simply just go through the application in order. After they complete all the steps, there is a $35 application fee to complete. However, if you feel like a student may need help with that fee, you can actually help them complete a fee waiver. And so if you go to feewaiver.byu.edu, and you can find more information of how to complete that help them complete that. Students do have to self-report their transcripts. We don't require students to submit their own transcript as part of the process. They have to write in their own transcripts. So this is how it'll look for them as they go through, as they have to submit all U.S. accredited work. And the biggest way that they can help themselves with this is get a copy of their official transcript and to understand their own grading system in their school. So you can help them with that. That's the biggest help that you can do, is to help them know what classes they've taken and get them their official transcripts. Once they just enter it, it's just pretty simple, one by one, and it is kind of tedious for the students to do. However, it is what's required as far as the application. So another thing that students often get confused is that after they self-enter the high school transcript, what do they have to do about their college transcripts? We do require students to send in their college transcripts into us. So part of the process, again, this is sometimes may even take 2 weeks for them to get done. So make sure that the students request those transcripts to be sent to us as early as possible. So for more information, you can see this website, enrollment.byu.edu/college-transcripts. We are still currently test optional for most students across the country. So we are through winter 2028. So we encourage applicants to submit a test score if they feel it is an accurate representation of their academic abilities. So it is up to the student to decide if they want to submit their ACT or SAT test scores. But if you have any questions, we have some some numbers in there of students what they scored on this website at testoptional.byu.edu, and to also know what the percentage of students who got admitted last year, how many students actually submitted their test scores last year. Students do have to do conduct commitments. They do have to agree to the BYU Honor Code as well as related policies to the Honor Code. And then they do have to complete their ecclesiastical endorsement, and they have to meet with the bishop and a member of their stake presidency as part of this process. So if they have more questions about this, they can go to endorse.byu.edu. They do have to get recommendations from their current seminary teacher, a high school teacher who taught them English, math, science, or social science, who taught them junior or senior year, and another recommender who is not their family relative. So recommenders will simply get an email form for us, so students have to get their email address. We will send them a form that they have to fill out. If they've already completed a recommendation for them in a different third-party service, we will not accept that, and we will not accept any other recommendation from anybody else other than these three recommenders. All essays and activities by the students must be original work, and students may ask others to review their essays, such as an English teacher or maybe a family friend or someone or a parent or something like that, but they should not pay anybody to help them review their essays. Also, students should not be using generative AI tools to compose their responses, so please help students know that once they commit to the Honor Code, this is one of those things that we require students not to use any of these things, and it's part of their agreement to that as well. There are 5 essays and 2 activities for students. So the biggest things that we talked about the aims earlier, that they review the aims of BYU education. So please have them pick meaningful service activities and experiences and have them proofread. Also, one of the great things that us reps, so Allison was here earlier, we can all review their essays. So they can go to reps.byu.edu if they want to send us their essays to review them after they're completed. For international students, these are some great websites for international students if they have any questions about that. Also, international experience. You have students who came from an international location and then came back to the U.S. to continue their education. So if you want to check, again, on the hsc.byu.edu website, you can find all these websites. Another common question we get is when should students do their application because they want to go on a mission. We recommend and highly, highly recommend that students complete their application during their senior year before they go on their mission. So make sure they apply during their senior year and submit their deferment after they get admitted to BYU, after they get their mission call. Here are the deadlines for the upcoming year. I want to just make note of two big ones. The priority deadline is going to be November 3rd this year. Typically, it's been November 1st, but since it falls on a weekend, we moved to the following Monday, so it's November 3rd. And then our scholarship deadline has changed from December 15th to February 1st. So it's a great change for us students, so they can have a little more time to complete their scholarship application. And decisions should be announced by February 16th of next year. Paying for school, one of the things we want to make note, we want students to complete the FAFSA and complete the scholarship application. The scholarship website there is scholarships.byu.edu. Another initiative that we want to make sure bring your attention to is our Cougar Pell program that can cover up to 2 times LDS tuition depending on financial need. You can see the website, cougarpellpromise.byu.edu, of how students can qualify. But the most important thing that we need you to help students know and understand is that they need to complete the FAFSA and the scholarship application in order to possibly qualify for the Cougar Pell Promise. So you can go to this website, cougarpellpromise.byu.edu. Real quick, we have our campus tours. We do virtual tours as well, so students can actually sign up to even do a virtual tour with our students, as well if they want to come to campus and do an in-person tour. So tours.byu.edu. So again, the resources that you have available, all these things that we've talked about, they're all on this website, hsc.byu.edu. And again, I want to bring note again to contact your rep. We're so excited. We want to help you guys out. We want to be there for you. Allison is a great rep. I'm a great rep. We have other reps who are awesome. We love our students, and you can just visit us at reps.byu.edu. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm going to give it back to Allison.
Thanks, Memo. And I hope you've been sending your questions in the chat because it's now time for some giveaway winners. And our winners are Danielle Johnson and Marty Gage. So be sure to send your name and mailing address to the link that will appear below shortly. So send your name, mailing address, and say that you are a winner from the High School Counselor Conference so that we can send you a swag package with swag from our different CES institutions. All right, so we know that students are often concerned with what to study and where they're going to study those things. So please note that there are multiple options and partnerships between schools, and each school has something unique to offer its students. So if your student has something specific in mind that they already know what major or program they want to study, please be sure to sit down with them and figure out which school offers those programs. You can also find out if those programs are open enrollment or limited enrollment and if they'll require an additional application after they get to the school. And also don't forget that Institute is a great option if for some reason they're interested in going to another school or if one of our schools doesn't offer the program they're interested in. And Institute is a great way for them to continue that spiritual learning regardless of where they go. And now we'll hear from Riley from BYU-Idaho.
Thanks, Allison. What's up, counselors? My name's Riley Hall. I'm the Director of Admissions at BYU-Idaho, and I'm really excited to be with you to tell you about some of the great things happening on our campus. Before I do, can I just tell you on behalf of all of us, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for the great work that you do in supporting these students as they apply to college. You are helping them get to the place where their dream is going to come true, and we're grateful to be engaged in that process with you. We couldn't do what we do without you. Now, some quick information about what's happening on campus at BYU-Idaho. There is something really, really special going on our campus. Let me give you an idea of what that looks like. Take a look at our enrollment numbers. On Monday next week, we are prepared to welcome to our campus our largest ever incoming new freshman class and our largest overall incoming class in the history of the institution for the second year in a row. That number last year of students per semester was 22,000 plus. Now it's 24,000 plus. We'll actually crest 25,000 for fall semester of 2025. That's unheard of growth, and we are so excited about it. We're grateful to see so many students taking advantage of the opportunity to come and be a part of what BYU-Idaho offers. Our 3-track system allows us to admit more students over the course of the year, so 33,000 plus students on the annual. Over 13,000 of those students are return missionaries. You see there's a pretty even male to female ratio there. They come from all over the world and all over the country. But despite our growing size, one of the things that doesn't change is our average class size stays small, under 30 students, meaning that students are still going to know their teachers, but the teachers also know the students by name. They call on them by name. There's a very strong discussion-based environment at BYU-Idaho that gives chances for students to learn hands-on, first person, in the moment. We're really grateful that we can continue to offer that to more and more people. Now, things that are really relevant to you counselors include deadlines. Our application opened up for fall semester 26 just about a week ago on September 1st, and we've already seen applications rolling in. We list our priority application deadline as February 1st, but BYU-Idaho does rolling admissions, so we encourage students to apply early. We'll generally be able to get you a decision within the first couple of weeks after you submit the application. Applying by February 1st definitely puts a student in time for the priority FAFSA application deadline, which is March 1st. We list our final deadline as September 1st of next year, but that's obviously a long way away. If you've got somebody who makes up their mind a little bit late in the game, know that BYU-Idaho can still be an option for them, but we definitely encourage students to apply early. And like was said earlier by memo, we encourage students to apply early if they're planning on going on a mission first and then deferring their enrollment. Now, some things that are new at BYU-Idaho include, we've made some more changes to the application to streamline it just a little bit more. We've changed our offer acceptance process to make that faster. I mentioned our largest incoming freshman class and overall class. We're so excited about that. And if you haven't been to Rexburg in a little while, you might not know we put in a massive 10-foot BYU-Idaho sign right on the west side of our campus. Come and see it, come take a picture, but come and feel what's happening on our campus. You're going to see that more people are coming to take advantage of that, and some of that's because we've simplified our onboarding process. We remain free to apply for the application. It's very simple to complete. It only takes about 10 minutes. We are test optional still and continue to be for the foreseeable future. One thing that we've changed this year is that instead of making a student come back to click a submit button when everything is done, as soon as the last requirement's completed, that's going to automatically submit and it'll kick over for the student to get evaluated. That helps a few more people not get caught in the gears of the application process and keep moving forward quickly. And once they get their admission decision, which 97% of our incoming freshman class will get an admission offer, you're going to see that offer acceptance process has also been streamlined. It used to be a little bit more parsed out. We've been able now to shrink it down so that the admission decision, their track assignment, and their scholarship offers from BYU-Idaho are all presented right up front, which makes it easy for a student to have the information they need to make a quick decision right up front. We are grateful for the partnership we have with BYU. You may be aware that any student who applies to BYU can automatically be considered for admission to BYU-Idaho as well, with no additional requirements necessary. You have to comply with BYU-Idaho, or with BYU's application deadlines to do that, and the student will get default consideration no matter what they do, as long as they don't opt out. You should know, by the way, that all of our decisions are independent from one another. So a decision at BYU-Idaho doesn't impact a student's decision at BYU or vice versa. Now, we know that one of the questions you get asked the most has to do with financial aid. How do I pay for college? BYU-Idaho is definitely an affordable option. We have a variety of different scholarships, academic, missionary, need-based, talent-based, and so on and so forth. We definitely encourage students to fill out the FAFSA, as that's what also gives them consideration for BYU-Idaho's need-based awards. But by all of those resources combined together with private scholarships, 70% of our incoming freshmen are receiving some kind of financial aid assistance. There's definitely help available to help students afford college. And that affordability continues to carry on through. In fact, the same number, 70% of our graduates are debt-free when they walk across the stage to pick up their diploma. That's a miracle in 2025, and we're grateful to see that happening for so many people. To dig in a little further to the Merits Scholarship for new freshmen, this is a popular topic of conversation for counselors. If a student has above a 3.5 GPA, or really a 3.5 or higher, and if they also have at least a 25 on the ACT or a 1200 on the SAT, those two factors combined are what provides a student consideration for a merit scholarship. Those awards are 4-year awards. They're renewable every year as long as a student keeps their cumulative GPA at BYU-Idaho above a 3.75. We also have scholarships for transfer students, and even if a student doesn't have a scholarship when they start, they can earn their way into scholarship assistance by keeping their GPA high. And they can even level up from their previous scholarship. There's lots of ways to make school more affordable. Another one of those ways is through our returning missionary scholarship mentioned earlier. It's $1,000. The first semester the student enrolls post their mission. We're going to provide that opportunity for students no matter what type of mission they served or how long they were out. A student who serves a mission for the church is going to get some assistance at BYU-Idaho if they apply early. And one other really important option for you counselors to know about is our early college or dual enrollment program. BYU-Idaho offers the opportunity for students who are at least 16 years old and at least a junior in high school to start taking college classes from BYU-Idaho for only $35 a credit. That is a screaming deal. It's the least expensive thing we do in the whole church educational system next to seminary and institute, which are free. That's a great opportunity for a student to get a head start on their education and hit the ground running. And if they stay enrolled all the way through the end of their senior year, we'll automatically move them over into degree-seeking status with no additional application required. Well, it's not only affordable on the intake, we also want to make sure it's worth the student's investment on the other side. We're really pleased to see so many of our students graduating with internships, so many places that are coming to BYU-Idaho to recruit our students for internship and job placement. We're taking students all over the country as well to go and visit all these different employers to see where they can find their best fit. And that's working out really, really well. We have a really high employment rate for students within the first 120 days and within the first year as they go to places whose products you buy and whose companies you know. Same kind of thing holds true for students who are going on to graduate programs, medical, dental, law school, you name it. We've got students going all over the country to really prestigious programs. Anywhere you look in industry or education, you're going to find students from BYU-Idaho thriving and succeeding there. But we want you to come and see that for yourself. It's one thing to hear about it, it's another thing to see it and experience it firsthand. So please, let us host you and your students for an in-depth campus visit. Whether you're here for a little bit or you're here for a full day, if you're in person or virtual, however we can best connect with you, we would love to help you and your students know more about what's happening at BYU-Idaho. And you can go to admissions-events.byu.edu to learn more. As you go there, one of the options you'll hear about is BYU-Idaho's Campus Day, which is coming up on Friday, October 17th. There's a QR code you can scan there to find out a little bit more about this full day event that is our premier event for prospective students to come and test drive BYU-Idaho. I guarantee when you come to visit BYU-Idaho, you're going to see what I mean when I talk about there's something special going on in Rexburg, Idaho. We hope to see you there soon. Back to Allison.
Thanks so much, Riley. All right, and now it is time for some more giveaway winners. So our winners are Chris Blackwell and Jamie Adair. So be sure to send your name, mailing address, and that you were a high school counselor conference giveaway winner to the email below on screen. So again, your name, mailing address, and that you were a high school counselor conference giveaway winner, and we'll send those packages to you. All right. Did you know that at the start of each fall semester, CES enrolls nearly 1 million students across its programs? Here you can see the breakdown of our on-campus enrollment, where we enroll nearly 65,000 students at the start of each fall. We also have over 74,000 students enrolled through BYU-Pathway worldwide, and over 900,000 students enrolled in seminaries and institutes across the world. It's pretty amazing. And now we're going to hear from Maurice from BYU-Hawaii.
Aloha, my name is Maurice Mo'o, and I'm the Strategic Enrollment Senior Manager at BYU-Hawaii, and we are BYU-Hawaii. I love this picture because this captures the essence of BYU-Hawaii. Today, I'd like to share with you some updates at BYU-Hawaii. First of all, let's jump into our purpose. Now, this isn't new, but we are more intentional and articulate about the purpose of BYU-Hawaii. And our purpose is to prepare disciples of Jesus Christ who will live and lead in Oceania and the Asian Rim. I'll repeat that. Our purpose is to prepare disciples of Jesus Christ who will live and lead in Oceania and the Asian Rim. That's not the last time I'm going to say that during this presentation, but that is from start to finish, everywhere in the university, we focus on this mission and purpose. Our fall 2025 enrollment is at 2,882 students. That enrollment is smaller than some of your high schools, and we know that. It's a small university, but 65 plus countries are represented, with 75% of our enrollment either international students or from Hawaii, which is part of our focus area. 1,778 students, or over 60% of our students, are sponsored by the university through our work-study program. Of course, we have small classroom sizes, and 64% of our students are returned missionaries. Our average age student is 23 years old. So we made some updates to simplify the application process. We are late to joining our CES institutions, sister institutions, but for the fall 2026 application, the ACT-SAT test is test optional. Our secondary education section of the application, we've simplified it. You no longer need to input the class and grade from 9th grade on. All you have to do now is self-report the cumulative GPA. Of course, if they're admitted, we will verify that GPA by having them submit their high school transcripts. We went from 4 essays to 2 essays, and we think this will make it better, not only for the student, but also for us as they articulate how they will contribute to the mission and vision of BYU-Hawaii. Then finally, freshmen that start this semester will be able to graduate with their bachelor's degree within 10 semesters. So we've done a lot of work to reduce credits for our major courses, which will allow students to graduate earlier and begin living and leading in Oceania and the Asian Rim. As far as scholarships that we offer, highly encourage you to help your students complete the FAFSA, to seek for external scholarships. Most of the scholarships that we provide at BYU-Hawaii are focused on students who will more likely live and lead in Oceania and the Asian Rim. As you can see from our international and our domestic work-study programs, as well as our Hawaii Seminary Scholarship and our Asia Pacific Return Missionary Voucher Program for students who have served in Asia Pacific or are from Asia Pacific and have served full-time missions. Finally, for freshmen who have finished their first semester with a 3.75 GPA or higher, they will receive the Dean's List Scholarship, which is a high five and $500 check. And so these are the scholarships that we offer. So highly encourage you to help your students apply for FAFSA and other external scholarships. Lastly, what do we look for when reviewing applications? A lot of people ask us this question, and there are 3 guiding principles that we look for. First is their desire to live and lead in Asia and the Pacific, right? We mentioned that before. Is purpose. Do they understand their purpose, and are they aligned with the purpose of BYU-Hawaii? Second is consecration. Do they already demonstrate patterns of discipleship, right? Are they making and keeping covenants and already living the university honor code? And then finally, leadership potential, extracurricular activities, excellence. Students who strive for excellence in all aspects of life: spiritual, academic, social, physical. And those are the things that we look for that will give priority consideration for admissions at BYU-Hawaii. Next, I'd like to show a video about our students.
Why do we go to college? We enter to learn how to build business, become a teacher, build online infrastructure. We learn what this is and what that does, but we also learn how to dance, play an instrument, and create art. We learn about different cultures like his and hers and all of theirs. But why do all this? Well, let's back it up a minute. This is David O. McKay. Through divine inspiration from God, he founded what is now BYU-Hawaii.
And from this school, I'll tell you, will go men and women whose influence will be felt for good towards the establishment of peace internationally.
So we go forth as an example to the world, an example of hard work, an example of dedication, an example of leadership, an example of faith, an example of peace in our countries, in our communities, in our careers, and in our homes. We are examples to the world. We are BYU-Hawaii students.
I hope you enjoyed that video. This is a QR code that you can give to your students or you can use that connects you with our request for information form online. Students who respond to this, we will contact them directly and walk them through the application process or answer any questions that they may have. So you might want to save this URL in your favorites. Finally, if you want to stay up to date with the latest BYU-Hawaii news and information that we have about our application, please follow us on social media. We are very active and you'll learn more about BYU-Hawaii by just following us on social media. Anyway, go Seasiders. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Maurice. And now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the conference, time for some more giveaway winners. And this time's winners are April Winterton and Scott Henry. Thank you so much for participating in the chat. Remember to continue sending those questions because there's a couple more chances to win before the end of the day. Okay, so we know that costs are a huge concern for students as they're looking into colleges. Here you can see the breakdown of each of our institutions' tuitions for fall 2025. And note that Institute is completely free. And here you can see how it compares to the average public and private tuition rates in the United States right now, according to the U.S. News and World Report. So you can see the huge difference there in the tuition rates. The reason that we're able to provide such discounted tuition is because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is very invested in the education of its members. So it subsidizes tuition at these institutions. We believe that education is a religious responsibility and we want our members to have access to affordable tuition. All right, and now we're gonna hear from Sarah from Ensign College.
Hello everybody, my name is Sarah and I'm an admissions and outreach counselor at Ensign College. We're so excited to speak with you today and tell you a little bit more about our school to show you why your students should come and attend at Ensign. First off is our mission. We are here to develop capable and trusted disciples of Jesus Christ. With those key words, with those capable students, we are equipping them to become ready for the real world with the skills, leadership, communication, problem solving, professionalism, and technical abilities to prepare for the work field. Now, trusted. Our goal is to foster leaders who will be able to act with integrity and accountability for others. Disciples of Jesus Christ. Of course, as we are a CES institution, we are here to teach and cultivate faith through Jesus Christ to live his gospel and his principles. Now, at Ensign College, we are a small institution, but that's for a very big reason. We average about 1,900 students per semester, which is awesome. And then online, we have about 5,000 plus students. And so we're able to not only reach here in the Salt Lake area, but also all around the world. Now, at our school on campus, we have over 78 different countries represented. So you'll meet people from all over the world, and you'll be able to connect with them. 109 countries plus online. And so really we are all over, which is really cool. Now, about 30+% of our students are first generation. So students coming either from around the world or from the US are able to come and get an education to further their degrees, but also to help out their families in the future. Now, we have over 40% of our school was international, like I had mentioned earlier, but over 50% is from the US. So being able to network and connect with others is essential at Ensign College. Now, our average classroom size is only about 15 people. So you really get to have that one-on-one connection, not only with your fellow students, but also with your teachers as well. And then with that, all of our teachers are what we call practitioner, and so they are actually professionals coming from the outside world, teaching our students real and practical skills that they can take once they've graduated. Now, we have some great priorities that I want to talk about. Number one is that we are focused on the Wasatch Front to help students become leaders who are driven to then impact the world and into their careers and into their families. We also want to contribute diverse perspectives and experiences for all of our students. And then, of course, like our mission statement says, we are here to develop capable and trusted disciples of Jesus Christ. So anyone who comes to our institution will be able to come through and fully take advantage of what we offer and then propel themselves in their future careers. Now, our application, we have made it super easy for students not only to apply, but to come to Ensign College. We have our application open year-round, all 3 semesters, so you're able to choose which ones might work best for you to plan accordingly. Now, with that, we don't require any ACT or SAT. With us, we also got rid of our application fee. It's totally free to apply to Ensign College, and we no longer require essays. So your application should only take about 15 to 20 minutes to fill out. Now, every student who does attend Ensign College must complete an ecclesiastical endorsement, which is an amazing opportunity to make sure that you're able to attend our CES institution and prepare to move forward not only in your faith, but in your career goals as well. With affordability, Ensign College is one of the most affordable schools in the state of Utah and within the CES system. So we really try to make it easy for our students not only to come to school, but also afford it. And so as you can see through the screen here, if we have students who are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the average cost per credit is about $172, but for a full semester, it's about $2,064. And so again, really affordable. Next, we're going to kind of talk about paying for college, but knowing the price and knowing if that's affordable for you or not is very essential. That's why Ensign loves putting these out there. Now, we are so excited that we are now offering stackable scholarships, which means that you can receive multiple scholarships on top of each other. So, for example, our academic merit, if you receive a 3.7 or higher from a former institution, then you can receive up to percentages for your tuition cost. We have our ambassador scholarship, which is about full semester per semester, and it's for a whole year. And so students who do that are representatives of the school. They help outreach and to help our students here on campus as well. So that pays for your entire tuition, which is really cool. Then, of course, we have our first generation scholarship, which again is full semester, so $2,064. All you have to do is report it on your scholarship page. Now, with the Hope Scholarship, that is for all domestic students. Once you complete your FAFSA form, then whatever cost isn't covered by your Pell Grants or by your FAFSA, then the school pays for the rest entirely. So again, another full tuition scholarship. We have other scholarships available, plus we do accept third-party scholarships, so anyone coming through, they have a lot of different opportunities. Over 70% of our student bodies receive financial aid, which is amazing. And over 40% of our students who come to Ensign College also receive a scholarship on top of that. So coming to school, coming to Ensign is super affordable. There is a QR code on the screen if you don't mind scanning it and just getting some more information. Now, academic programs. Ensign is really cool because back in 2020, we started offering bachelor's degrees. We have about 10 bachelor's degrees, about 9 associate's degrees, and quite a few certificates. Now, with those different degrees, each one will offer our students what we call applied curriculum skills to prepare them what they learn here in the classroom to take immediately to their careers or to their paths once they graduate. And so these are just a couple that we have. And so take a look, take a screenshot. Now with our associate's degrees, they're transferable to not only in-state but out-of-state tuition. So again, another amazing reason to come to Ensign College and study with us. Now, Ensign is offering now what we call 7-week blocks. So this is awesome. I, as a student, loved this. And so what we used to do is we used to have 14 weeks. Now we divide it into 15 weeks, 1 week break in the middle. So we divide it 7 weeks first block, break, 7 weeks second block. And so as you can see on the screen, before our students were having to go through and do multiple classes at once. Sometimes it was difficult to kind of manage or balance all of that. With the 7-week blocks, now you can truly focus on set classes, not only with your assignments, with your projects and hands-on experience, but that way you can really develop the skills you need in those areas for when you're done and graduate. So we're very excited to offer that. If you have any questions, we will drop a link in the chat as well to our page where you can read more about that. Now, thank you so much for letting me come and speak to you guys today. This is our team. We have an amazing team full of women who are here to help answer your questions. As you can tell on the screen, again, my name is Sarah. We have our social medias there as well. Please follow us. We update all the time our admissions page, but anything about Ensign College and what we can offer. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Sarah. And now it is time once again for some giveaway winners. And those winners are Philip Olson and Natalie Neva. So again, make sure you send your name, mailing address, and that you are a high school counselor conference giveaway winner to this email below. Alrighty. So one thing to remember as you meet with your students is that our institutions have different deadlines and applications. So here you can see that most applications for our institutions open in the fall. Just be sure to sit down with your students and make sure that they meet the appropriate deadlines for whichever program they may be applying to. And now we're going to hear from Michael from BYU-Pathway Worldwide.
Thank you so much. Grateful to be with you and share just a few things about BYU-Pathway Worldwide. As you can see here on this chart, the worldwide part is a global university, and it kind of demonstrates that here. We are accredited through our other CES partners with students from around the world, over 75,000 students last year from 180 countries that you can see here in gold. Now, the accredited CES institutions that we partner with specifically are BYU-Idaho and Ensign College. And as we partner together, our real goal is to offer students access to spiritually based degrees that are completely online and offered at a significantly reduced cost. We know that cost is one of the primary barriers to students pursuing an education, in addition to fear and just that doubt of, can I be successful in college? What can I expect? And then just being able to have access to college and university because of location or maybe some other limitations. We know there are real barriers to pursuing an education. And so with BYU Path, we want to make sure that we remove as many of those barriers as possible. Now, we do serve students who are both members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, as well as friends of the church. And I want to introduce you to one of our students. This is Bella. And as you'll hear from Bella, one of the key parts of pursuing an education is the flexibility that an online university offers. So let's listen to Bella's experience in her own words.
Hi, my name is Bella, and BYU Pathways has helped me to start my social media marketing degree completely online. It's been a great experience to be able to do everything online, have a flexible schedule, and be able to attend my classes. It's been such a blessing for me because from the very beginning of my school endeavors, I know that the Lord has been a part of it. And as I have gone through every step of this educational journey, I know that He's with me.
Great. So that was Bella's experience that kind of demonstrates that flexibility and provided flexibility combined with the hope that it provides. I want to talk for just a minute about degree in 3. This is an opportunity to finish faster with a 3-year bachelor's degree that really keeps the core courses while eliminating elective credits. And these certificates focus on helping you gain job skills while also building into an associate's degree and eventually a bachelor's degree. And students can start their first certificate course just 14 weeks into their educational journey. Now, one of the things that we know, the potential barrier may be English. All of the courses from BYU Pathway are offered in English. And so if English is a little bit of a struggle, we do have a program. The church offers English Connect to help improve students' ability to speak and read and write in English in preparation for academic studies. Now, we begin with Pathway Connect. Pathway Connect is the 6-month program where you can see here, reduced cost still, and there's no ecclesiastical endorsements that's required. That's one of the barriers oftentimes that can prevent students from starting an education. So to start, there is no ecclesiastical endorsement that is required. And there are 6 foundational courses. All of these count towards a degree. There are 3 that are academic courses and then 3 religion courses that make up those 6 foundations. And we do offer also 6 starts a year, so it makes it really easy for students to be able to jump in wherever they're at in their life's journey. The other thing that's important to know too is we do have no GED requirements, diploma, or ACT and SAT test scores that are required. And there's also no secondary school or high school requirements as long as students are over the age of 17. We have talked about English Connect as far as a language program that can also help those that need to improve their English. So we wanted to take as many barriers away and make it as simple as possible for students to pursue their education. Now let's talk just a little bit more about the 6 starts a year. Here's what it looks like on an academic calendar where students can jump in 6 times a year. We start in January, and then basically every other month after that, students can begin their educational journey, which really provides that flexibility for students to start or stop based on their life situation. We just started a semester or a term in September 1st, and then the next one will start again on October 27th. And with our certificates and degrees, we offer online certificates and degrees in, as you'll see here, business, technology, health, communication fields, and more, as well as those certificates. Let's talk about the low-cost tuition, because that's probably one of the primary barriers for students pursuing an education is the tuition. At BYU-Pathway, tuition is $86 per credit hour, and that'll allow a student starting from scratch with no previous college credits to finish a bachelor's degree in about $7,000. Now, in addition to that, that does not take into account any of the tuition discounts or scholarships that are available. So there is a return missionary scholarship. It's a 25% discount for any missionaries that have served within the last 5 years. And then we also have a scholarship called Heber J. Grant Scholarship. This is available to all students. It's a needs-based scholarship where students can qualify to get at least a 10% tuition discount or up to a 50% discount based on their individual circumstances. Now, one of the other things that I would leave you with is this QR code. This QR code is specifically for you as high school counselors, and it has more details on just some of the key points that I've highlighted today. So I'd encourage you to scan this QR code and check out the more information that is available to you on that code. And thanks for your time today. Allison, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Michael. And now it's time for our last giveaway winners of the day, and those winners are Vicky Bolingbroke and Kylie Joyce. I apologize if I said your name wrong. And just send your full name, mailing address, and that you were a high school counselor conference giveaway winner to this email below. All right, so hopefully you've been sending all your questions into the chat today, but we know sometimes there's not enough time to answer all the questions, or you might come up with more questions in the future. Here we have our contact pages for each of our institutions, as well as emails where you can reach out to us. Please feel free to reach out. We're here to answer your questions, so send them on over. Thank you so much for all you do as high school counselors. We know you do so much for your students, whether that's reminding them about deadlines, helping them with their applications, or even knowing what schools to apply to. So thank you so much for all you do, and thanks for joining us today.